It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
Hey guys, how is it going? And welcome to the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. It is Friday, September 20th. And so happy for you joining us. We are ready to start another day together with the Lord. So subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on SoundCloud, and make sure to support us on Patreon. So today we have an exciting podcast for you. We have Until the End with Daniel Baker, the Wednesday Message Word Study, and of course commentaries, updates, and news on what is happening around the world in this history today. All right, everyone, how are you doing? And it is a wonderful Friday. I hope you guys have been enjoying your week thus far, and the weekend is now upon us. Don't forget, we have Q&A Thursday every single week, so get those questions in. Just like yesterday, we did a ton of questions, 5 questions yesterday. And if you haven't yet, for today's video, please leave a like and comment to build our community. I am just really happy for everyone joining us every weekday on the Morning Star Drive. So let's get up and support each other each and every day. So this week's Sunday message title, Speak Knowing the Will of God, the Fundamental Being. And the second title is Condition and Reward, Sin and Punishment. All right? So it is a wonderful Friday. I am thankful that we've reached the end of the week. Always thankful. You know, I'm reaching the week of the end of week 7. So 7 weeks here, almost 50 days. And I am always thankful that we can be living in this history. And just want to let you guys know, I am just seeing a beautiful scene right now. It is truly a beautiful sight. What I see right now is, you know, I'm actually back in Warmington again, and I don't even know how I can describe this. In front of me is the landscape. The landscape is just, I see Warmington in front of me. The lake is in front of me with the pavilion, and a little to the left, I'll see God's waterfall. And then I'll see the grass lawn, and then there's a mountain range behind it, and then there's these clouds to the right, a little bit gray, clouds to the left are a little bit gray, but a little bit clear. But right in the middle, there's the sun, and the sun is setting right now, and it is really a beautiful scene to see. So I am grateful and thankful that I'm able to record once again in Wolmyeongdong for this podcast. I hope you guys have enjoyed this podcast all week. Also, a lot of different things to discuss, a lot of different things that we have in our hearts and our minds too. Today, I am joined by a praying mantis. There is a praying mantis just chilling out on the table next to me, and I will post that on my Instagram. So you're gonna see like a video of a praying mantis right next to my bag. And it's I don't know. Praying mantises, they kind of look scary, but technically they're not really that scary, right? But there's a praying mantis kind of sitting next to me. I don't think he's going to try to attack me. Maybe. But yeah. So I am being joined by some friends from Kung Fu Panda, and I don't even remember what the name of the Kung Fu Panda, the praying mantis and Kung Fu Panda. Does anyone know the name of that praying mantis? I completely forgot it. So, as I'm going through this week, I'm doing my job as IMD director, a lot of different things that are going on. And, as I talk to a lot of people from different countries, there's one thing I do notice, and I think, people have told me this before, but I didn't realize how big it really was. It's the weight of my words, right? Now that I have this mission, there is a weight that comes together with the words that I speak. There's a weight to my words. Is that the right way to say it? I got weight behind my words. And I actually thought to myself people will still treat me the same, or people will still talk to me like, because I'm still the same Sky kind of thing, right? But now that there's a mission and then there's authority behind that mission, it's very different. It really is. And I'm not here complaining about it either. It's just my realization. I didn't realize it would be that heavy. It just holds more weight. And, if people say stuff like Pastor Sky said, like it's different because of my position. And I didn't think it would hold that much weight, but it does, right? And I think only now I'm starting to realize, like I actually thought to myself, hey, when you talk to people, just be careful with your words and, don't say, and I thought to myself, I was like, no, I'm not saying anything. Like, I'm not saying anything. Like I'm holding myself back a lot of the time. But it's like, oh no, you got to be even more careful because it's not that people are trying to misunderstand you. It's that people come to you with a certain expectation, or they're thinking that, oh, since you're this position, you have the authority, right? So it's just a little bit different. And I have to be even more careful too. And I think it's just part of the process. Just like when I was a head leader, there is a difference when a regular person in the church says something and when the head leader says something. It is different. And I have to realize and recognize too is, with any position that you get, there's always going to hold some type of weight towards it. And if I don't really hold that, if I don't really take care of those words well, then what's going to happen is people are going to be hurt by it, right? So here's the thing. This is one of the things. So that's one thing I realized. Another thing I realized is, in the comment section, we have tons of times we're like exchanging comments and stuff like that too. But there's one comment from Ray, and I'm sure you guys know Ray really well. He comments a lot too. I think he's over there in Germany at the moment, and he wrote this comment about lecturing, and he's like, oh, but the spiritual power, is that important? Is much more important, right? And right at that moment, I was like, oh, I see what's going on now. I see why we are talking. Like, it's so interesting because when some of these comments I'm listening to, some of it doesn't make sense to me. I'm just like, what? Like, where does this come from? Oh, did I say that? Oh, did I say this? And when I was talking to Ray, Ray was articulating something, and he's like, oh, a great lecturer should be, it shouldn't be so much a speaking skill, it should be the spiritual power. And I was like, oh, so this is kind of where this conversation was heading towards. And I was like, oh, how did it get there? So, there's these good comments out there from Ray and Michelle. And in the end, when Ray left his comment, I was like, oh. And the realization I think both of us had is we're like, ooh, we both assumed that we were talking about the same definition, but his definition and my definition are completely different of what a great lecturer is. And it was completely different from what I was thinking too. Like what he was thinking, what I was thinking was different, and what I thought he was thinking, and what he thought I was thinking, completely different. And the assumption, which is, it's always good not to assume. The assumption was, in my head, I'm just thinking to myself is, a great lecturer needs good speaking skills. But I thought to myself, the assumption, or like the obvious thing that all of us know is spiritual power is an obvious thing. We're talking about on top of spiritual power. But it seems that people were kind of thinking that I was talking about speaking skills only without any spiritual power. And I think this is why both sides were kind of like missing each other. Like, wait, what? Like, you think this? No, wait, this doesn't make sense, right? And when me and Ray were like, oh, okay, got it now. And, it's just a different, and this is something that I'm realizing once again is we can't assume. We can't assume that the other people know what we're talking about, and we had completely different definitions of what a great lecturer or great speaker was, right? And for me, that the spiritual side is the obvious side. Just for me, as in all the conditions are set. Imagine two people have the same spiritual power. It's the speaking skill is going to make someone a little bit better than the other, right? It's not done by because we know that the word and realization is not done by human power. And that's why, even when one of the questions came up yesterday is, can you persuade someone to come into province? And the answer is, I don't think so. That's between you and God. That's a realization it's God who invites. It's God who the Holy Spirit that opens your eyes to it because you are chosen, right? And that's why for me, I'm just like, I don't think people can be persuaded into this history, right? And my main thing is the speaking skills only enhance the power that God gives, like a microphone. God works and does his responsibility, and we do our responsibility, which is 10%, but includes how to speak better. You know what I mean? So I would have to say, I'm the one who started this, and I'm the one who wasn't clear with my definition, and that's why I need to apologize, right? Because I'm the one that started the conversation, but I didn't clearly define what I meant by a good speaker. right? Because I think everyone would obviously agree I think, now here's another assumption, but I do think everyone would agree that if two people have the exact same spiritual power, the one with the better speaking skills will be able to directly or clearly convey it in a way that people can receive it better. If you have the better speaking skill. If all things are equal, including spiritual power, right? So seriously, guys, it is actually my fault because I'm not as, I just wasn't as detailed as I should be when I should have been. I should have been. So it is absolutely my fault. I should not have. I should have been much more clear about what I was actually talking about. And since I wasn't, it creates a lot of confusion and such too. So yeah, it even confused me to the point I'm like, wait, why is everyone on a different wavelength? Why is everyone different? Like, I totally didn't say this, and I totally didn't say that. And then basically God is telling me through that one comment through Ray, I was just like, oh. Even though we're talking about the same subject, our definition of what we're talking about is very different. And because of that, what's happening? Because of that, we're like misunderstanding, we're confused, we're not sure what the other person is saying. And that's when I was like, okay, that is totally my fault because I didn't clearly define exactly what it was that, what a great lecture actually was, right? And that is completely my fault. So my apologies out there to everyone out there who didn't write in the comments, but were just as confused as, say, Michelle and Ray. That is my fault. It completely is. So I'm sorry for this because I should be thinking much more clearly and defining much more than I just did there. So that is something that once again I apologize. That is my fault. I should have been much more clear about that too. So yeah, it's I get it. I get it. And this is where I see everything kind of stems from. And this is where all these issues begin to grow even more from too. And that's why I'm kind of like, yeah, that is definitely, it's stemming from that same part. And it basically is, it's probably my fault in the preparation stage, right? Where sometimes we're not as prepared and then we don't have these, we're not completely clear about what we're saying to other people also. But yeah, so I just want to tell you guys that standing in Wonmyeongdong, in the Holy Land, talking to God and doing this podcast to all of Wonmyeongdong, I do repent. And I hope that God hears me as I stand at 316 and that he will allow me to be forgiven at this time. And I ask for your forgiveness too, because that is my mistake. And that's why it happens in this way, right? So it is a wonderful weekend. I hope that you guys are looking forward to something awesome to happen. I am looking forward to this too because there is a lot of things that are going to happen this week, particularly because I'm going to be with the American team. A lot of leaders are coming over too. I think we're going to have a fun time, lots of education. A lot of times we're going to be, just going to be together, hanging out and chilling too. So I'm very grateful and thankful about that also. I think they're going to be here for about 10 days or so, right? So I'm thankful about this. And there's like 90 Malaysians here. And I'm like, everywhere I go, every time in Wonmyeongdong, I'm always like, oh, you're here. And it's like all these old faces that I see. And it's quite amazing that we're meeting each other in Wonmyeongdong, I think. We never thought we would meet here, of all places. But now here we are. I have, interestingly, behind me, I remember I'm in front of the cafeteria. There's all these Malaysian Milky Ways that are just running and screaming all over the cafeteria. It's pretty crazy, guys. Like when I'm in there, they're like, Pastor Sky! And they all start running towards me and I have to run away. And then, I just play with them for a little bit. But, they are, these kids are amazing. And these kids are definitely going to be, they're going to be the leaders in some area in Providence in the future. I'm looking at these like 8, 9 kids right now, and there's going to be a leader, at least 1 or 2 leaders coming out of this group here. Like these kids are super hyperactive and exciting, And well, there's some babies there too. So there's probably like 9 or 10 kids there. But I'm always happy to receive and to be playing with the kids over here. My question to you guys right now is, what are your plans for the weekend? Right? It is, man, if you think about it, we have a week and a half left, right? We have a week and a half left before September finishes and we get into October, which is awesome because it's the month of giving glory to God. But also on top of that, the exciting thing for us on MSD is we're going to have the praise and music and education that's going to be done by Pastor Rungjo over there, or we'll call him RJ, right? Who's over there in Taiwan, and he's the main conductor for the national choir in Taiwan. And they actually came and performed in, their choir came and performed in Wolmyeongdong, and it was awesome. They were performing in 316 after service, and they were singing, I think they sang some Providence songs, but they sang some old school hymns. And the one song that really, really moved me so deeply was the song, This Is My Father's World. Do you guys remember that song? This is my Father's world, and to his listening ears all nature sings, and round me rings the music of the sphere. Something like that, right? This is my Father. Like, they were singing this song in a new way. Like, they did their own composition of it. It was so inspiring. It really was. I think, was it like 60 people or 70 people in the choir? It was so good. I was kind of shocked by how good the choir really was. So when I saw that, I was like going, wow, that's real. It was really moving. And I'm hoping that, yes, I think they were also performing in Malaysia too. I wish I would have gone to that because I know that Malaysia, they also have, like they're big enough now. And I went to one, I think I told you guys before, I went to one of their concerts for music. And they are continuously like raising the level. And when I saw their concert, I think I told you guys before, is this concert can really become something that will be an annual event that will, I think that in the future can actually become a famous event too. I really do. So, they have all these professional singers over there. They have like vocal teachers. They have composers. They have like an orchestra. They have a choir and such. And they're just slowly building it up. And I thought to myself is like, this is really kind of one of those hopeful, inspiring things that you can see about the future of Providence in the small, like the countries outside of Korea. And I really hope that, all countries can even have like a huge, a huge choir musical event where choirs will all come to one country, hold this massive event, and it'll become something that's world famous. Like, I think that would be awesome, and that would be something inspiring. That's something that will be able to testify for Sunsteam also. But imagine if you have like a choir from Japan, from Taiwan, from Malaysia, from Korea, from America, right? From all these other different countries coming for this like World Choir Conference, the World Peace Choir event, or whatever it is. I think that would be awesome. And all it takes is people really putting in the work and efforts now so that in the future, people will be prepared to do it too. That's what I really, really feel. So I know how Sunsteam really is very adamant about giving glory to God. Very adamant about making sure that people are giving glory to the utmost, and the choir is one of the biggest ones, right? And I hope that we can have these types of events all around the world, and it'll get so big. Like, I am actually thinking to the size of like an airline sponsoring it, so that the choirs can come overseas. That you'll have like tons of sponsors that allows people to fly for free. And then you'll have a hotel sponsor, you have this and that sponsor. And what's going to happen is people are going to be like, oh, wow, this is that huge of an event. And then it can raise a ton of money, right? People will actually see the value of it, and they're going to pay like $200, $300, $400 per ticket, and it'll be something that goes towards a charity or something along that line, right? So for me, as I'm like, yeah, I can see a big future vision in music. Right? And, Korea is an obvious place because there's so many people, but you could really see the vision. I could see it for the two countries I've seen the most is probably Taiwan and Malaysia. Like those two, you're like, whoa, there's totally a vision there. You can see music getting to another level for those two countries. And I'm pretty sure Japan has one too. I'm pretty sure. Right? With a country that size, I'm sure they have a nice big choir there, an orchestra and stuff like that also. But the ones that I've seen as of late is definitely Malaysia and Taiwan, because those are the ones that I've seen as of late. I haven't seen Japan's choir, but I'm pretty sure they have one. I'm pretty sure they do. I know the smaller countries a little bit hard. Right? Like if you have a country that has 100 people, 200 people, yeah, that's going to be really hard. I think you need to get to a certain level, like maybe over 500 people before you can start doing something at that level. But I think it'll definitely happen. Okay? Either way, all right? So yeah. A lot of things going on. Hope you guys have an amazing and awesome weekend. If there's anything that you guys need to, let me know what you guys are doing for the weekend. And if you have any questions or anything for Q&A Thursday, go ahead and put those up too. And if not anything else, let's move into the first music break of the day. So let's get into today's Wednesday message word study. And of course, we do this every single Friday. I hope you guys have been enjoying your Wednesday messages. Right now, I am really drawn into the sky right now. It's beautiful at the moment. It's kind of like it's turning to clear skies. But then it's got a lot of like red and pink in it. And the clouds are in some type of form. It looks like, it doesn't look like normal clouds. but I'm kind of captured by this beauty of looking at the sky. And then, this is just the background landscape. Like you'll see Warmington straight in front of me. And then in the background, just the sky is, oh man, it's really, really amazing. But yeah, with this background in mind, let's get into today's Wednesday Missed Word Study. And two big questions here. Two big titles, sorry. It says, if it's something that requires prayer, it will be solved only if you pray. And the second one is, there is a time for everything. So a very, very short message, but a powerful one. And I hope that all of us were really moved and inspired by it. And I hope that we'll really be able to, it's been a strong message this week, I would say, with the sin and punishment, right? But let's get into the Wednesday message. And this comes on the last day of the Chuseok holiday. And, by this time, most people are already going home. They've left their parents' houses and stuff like that too. And Sunsein gave a message, and the first 2 points are they're very poignant. The first one is, a person who quits praying at pre-dawn because it's too hard becomes like a person who has collapsed on the spot, right? So that's, this, we can know our spiritual condition here is if you've just quit because it's too hard to pray at pre-dawn, it's almost like your spirit has collapsed. It's just ran out of strength and you don't really want to do anything, right? The second one is a person who does not do what he promised becomes like a betrayer. If they don't get up and take action, they become like a dead person. And this is something that in a miniaturized scale, we're all offenders of this, not keeping promises, and we become someone who betrays. But if we really think about this, like the context of this over the last several months, right? We're talking probably over the last 6 months, is you can really tell how hurt the heavens are, right? You can really tell how hurt the heavens are by just looking at the messages over the last 6 months. I think one of the mistakes we can make, one of the mistakes we could make is we start to think that, oh no, like God, why is God talking so much about judgment? Why is God talking about these people who betrayed, who don't follow the will? Why is God talking about like people who are, in this message, you're going to see some harsh words come out like, hey, if you leave God's embrace, you're going to be, eternally suffering in hell, beaten or kicked out, or there's a bunch of different things in there that kind of tell us that this is what, that we look at that, we listen to that, and we only look at one side. And that's kind of one of the mistakes that we do make. If we start to look only at one side, what happens? Well, you look at one side, and you'll only see one side, and you won't get the whole picture. Because we could think to ourselves that, oh my gosh, God is, why is God so scary? Why is God like this or that? Or if you look at the flip side, how hurt is God? And that's something we have to think about too. Yes, the message is quite scary, but I would say that with people, especially who are, who are married and in love, and then all of a sudden one side completely betrays them, how crazy do they get? Like how much do they kind of overreact, right? And it's something that we have to look at and say, yeah, that's what love is. Love is the extremes. And when you have people who are, brides who are married to this history, married to God, there's two extremes, right? There's two extremes. When you love, it is that extreme. And when you betray, it is that extreme. And I think it's something that we do have to take into consideration is not only what we think from our side, but you have to read the shimjang of, man, this is how hurt the heavens are by what happened from last year. And would you say, like, oh, don't you think that the message is talking about this way too much? And my answer to you would probably be is, if you were hurt that badly by someone you love, you were betrayed, they cheated on you, whatever it was, do you think you could just get over it in like a month, in a week? No, it's the hurt is so strong that it's always stuck in your mind for a little while, right? And the one thing Sanseem said is this, and I think this is something that we have to also recognize and understand is, Sanseem said that people think that God is not sensitive, right? Because he's so strong, he's like a rock, and he's not emotional, and he doesn't cry, doesn't get angry, whatever it is. But no, Sanseem said God is even more sensitive because he's that much more perfect. He's millions of times more sensitive than we are. He's millions of times more loving than we are. He's millions of times on every aspect than we are, which means that God feels it millions of times more than we do. And that's something when I was listening to this, I was like, oh, sometimes we forget the other side, and we should really think about what is happening on God's side, right? So, this betrayal is not doing according to God's will or not doing according to the Lord's will, right? And we have to understand is we have to be those that are obedient and loyal to the absolute God. This is when we succeed and prosper, is when we obey, right? Now, of course, the message says your efforts are in vain if you offend his heart. Follow perfectly, only then will you prosper, right? And remember, we got to always remember when Sanseem talks about perfection, he doesn't talk about perfection from the old school thinking that you never make a mistake. Remember, Sanseem's definition of perfection is perfection at your level. So if you're a baby, perfection for a baby is learning to walk, right? You're not perfect at walking. You're learning to walk is perfection. When you're like 5, 6 years old, perfection is like not falling over. Perfection is different for a 5-year-old compared to a 6-year-old, compared to a 7-year-old, compared to an 8-year-old, right? Then you start comparing to a 20-year-old, and then you start comparing to a 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old. The perfection at each level is all different. And that is something we really have to understand well is when God is asking for perfection, he's asking for perfection at the level you're at right now. If you're a newcomer, do you think perfection is a newcomer just came to Providence is you will never miss a pre-dawn, you will never be late, you will always have the deepest and the strongest prayers? No way. That is not perfection for a newcomer. It isn't, right? We always have to think about the context of what God is telling us. God loves us so deeply, much more than we can even comprehend or understand. And what God is telling us is, yeah, if you're in God's love, there is mercy, there is forgiveness, there is love. But once you move outside of it, you're outside of the arms of God. It's that much harder. And that's something I do think all of us have to realize and recognize really well too, right? The message said the happiest person is the one who does what? Who lives according to God's will from birth to death, right? And I think it's something that is the ultimate benefit of those who believe in God. What's the benefit? The benefit is that we get to know, right? Because those that don't know the will, that's the way the message says, you're like a beast, and you eventually perish like a beast. Right? And we need to realize and understand one of the greatest benefits we have in this history is what? Is that we have God, the Holy Spirit, the Holy Son, and the Lord literally teaching us. We have to think about how great that is. That is a powerful thing if you really think about it. We're not just learning from anyone. We are learning from the Holy Trinity. We're learning from Jesus, right? So that is something that I really think that a lot of us should remember how great and powerful that is. So there's another thing that I liked. It said, sorry, there's mosquitoes all around here. People do not reject God. However, since the Savior sent by God is a person, they reject that person, treating him like a regular person. And as a result, the Savior sent by God cannot save them. God takes action through the person he has sent. And I think this is one of the questions that came up yesterday, right? One of the questions that we were given yesterday was, the Dome of the Rock. And if it's idol worship, then, well, idol worship means another God. But, Muslims believe in the exact same God as we do. But why would it be idol worship? And the answer is, it's because idol worship, right? The one thing that the Bible tells us is, it's not just about believing in God, it's believing in God and the one that God has sent. Those are the two things that must happen, right? And if we don't recognize this, then we too will start to think to ourselves, oh, this isn't fair. Oh, how come they go to hell? How come this happens there? No, right? It's not people believe in God. It's they reject the people God sends. And this is what sends them to, the domain of death, right? Or in other words, as the message said, it's our ignorance, our arrogance and pride that brings us to ruin, right? So, we have to be those that really take action. We have to take action in our everyday lives. And when we take action, this is when God and the Holy Spirit give us strength. This is when God and the Holy Spirit give us the heart to take action, right? So if we think about it in this way, right? Think about it this way. God, the Holy Spirit, they give us strength and the heart to take action, but that only comes when we actually do take action. So which means that sometimes in the beginning, we don't have the heart and we don't have the strength, but God is saying, just do it. Just go out and do it. And when you do this, what's going to happen is the Holy Spirit will give you the strength and give you the heart to do it more, right? And I think this is kind of one of those, it's kind of, if you think about it, it's kind of like a condition. The condition is we go and take action. And then once that condition is set, when we go and actually do it, this is when God and the Holy Spirit actually come and say, oh, no, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do this kind of thing, right? So I think it's something that we have to recognize and realize is it's always going to start from our actions first, okay? So what's another part? Oh, I like this point, this point of talking about prayer. Prayer is a conversation with God, the Holy Spirit, the Holy Son, and the Lord. If the conversation stops, you are a dead person. Therefore, you must pray. If it's something that requires prayer to be given to you, God will give it to you only if you pray. Right? We gotta pray. Even though it's the hardest time to pray, this is the time we need to pray. Because as the message says, once the conversation stops, we're dead. Right? Because it's a dead relationship. Once you stop communicating, the relationship begins to die. Right? This is why we need to keep conversing with God. Right? Prayer makes things turn out the way you really want into reality. Right? Just as work gets done as much as you do it, when you pray, things get fulfilled. Right? So this is, that's why Sensi said at the very beginning, those who stop going to pre-dawn, stop praying at the pre-dawn time, these are the ones that have actually collapsed, right? So, that's something that I thought was a very powerful statement there too. Another one, part of the message I liked was, with everything you do in life, you can't do them if you fail to do them at the right time, right? The opportunity is an instant. It is urgent, so make sure you do it. Right? And of course, the best example is what I'm looking at right now is the sun setting in Wolmyongdong. Imagine if Sunsim didn't make Wolmyongdong when he had the chance, right? If he doesn't do it when he has the chance, then how much of it would actually be made right now at this time? It was, so that was the opportunity. He had to start it at the right time. He had to start making it, right? And if he didn't do that, what would happen? If he didn't do it, I wouldn't be looking at this very place I'm looking at right now. It would not look this way, right? And I think we need to recognize and realize there are tons of things that are happening all the time in our life. And there's a right time to do it. Now, even if you were to think about Abraham sacrificing his son Isaac, imagine he said, oh, not right now. I'll do it a little later. He'd miss the time and he would no longer be the father of faith, right? That's how big that opportunity was. And I do think that in our lives too, we have seen and we have not seen when the times are perfect and right. Like there's some times where I'm sure we've tried something and it doesn't work out. And there's other times where we try something and we're like, oh my goodness, I'm so happy I did it at this time, right? Like I would say one of the things that is perfect timing for me, and I've told you guys this before, is me leaving Korea and then not coming back for 4 years. Like just, I had this disdain for Korea. I was like, oh, I don't want to live here. I don't want to be here. Korea is not a place that I want to be. And later I find out when I finally come back to Korea, God put it in my heart not to come back. And because of that, I completely missed all the chaos and the 2023 tribulations all here. And I was able to be in another place where I was much safer, right? So that is something that I looked at and say, yeah, that was the right timing. And for me, that was the right timing not to go, right? It was the right timing not to be there. So that is something that I am definitely grateful and thankful for, that I didn't do something at the proper time and it actually saved me at that time too, right? So why is this important about this timing? Because what God's telling us right now is there are opportunities happening right now, even in tribulation. So even during times of tribulation, there is opportunity. And during this time, even now, you have to do the things you need to do, or they cannot be done a little bit later, right? So, as the message said, think about your past, right? And think about the things that you couldn't have done if you did it at that time, right? And you will see, like, the things that you did get done, you have the evidence. Like, oh, see, this is why I got this. This is why I have this. Everything that you have gained is the evidence that you took action at the right time, right? And later when you testify about it, this is when people are full of grace and full of truth and full of love because you were able to do something that amazing, right? So, it's so true. For me is, if you don't gain anything, what happens? It's taken from you, right? If you don't value it, it's taken from you. We can't exist without gaining something. We have to gain it. If we don't gain anything, then what's the point? If we don't gain anything from doing something, setting conditions, we don't value it very well, right? And if we don't set the conditions, someone else will set it, and what's going to happen? They will take possession, and you will lose it, right? So Sunstein even said in the message, there's lots of people like that right now. People who failed to become owners of this history, and they're just spectators, right? They can't feel its value because they didn't make the effort. And that's something that I looked at and said, oh, this is true. And I'm sure even all of us right now, we all have something we missed out on. And I wouldn't you say that for 100% for sure that all of us have missed out on an opportunity? Yeah, I agree with that. Like, there are probably things that we don't even know about that later in the future, if we go to heaven and we ask God, hey, God, what are the things that I missed the opportunities on? God will show you the things, and maybe you don't even want to see it because you're like, oh my gosh, I could have gotten that. Oh my goodness, I could have gotten this kind of thing, right? So, this last thing that Sunstein said, I'll read to you. It says, right now is the time of the greatest blessed history for the final time since God created the earth and started religious history. If you exist to the end, he will give you everything pertinent to you, right? And I leave with that as the final part of the message, okay? So there it is, guys. That is the Wednesday message word study. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I'm enjoying this amazing view. As the sun is setting, slowly it's darkening. The chandeliers have turned on at God's waterfall. And there's like a pavilion above, like to my right? And it's really an amazing sight to see it slowly dim. Either way, before we get into Until the End with Daniel Baker, let's move into the final music break of the day.
2023. We've all come a long way. Many different stories, but we're all on the same journey. Many, many ups and downs, but we're all still around. Many, many, many lessons, but each one came with a blessing. Let's not forget for where we come from when we make this confession. Some people just want to watch the world burn. As for you and I, let's set ourselves on fire, shine a light so bright that will make the people say, burning life, Look at the flames in my eyes, watch it burn, but don't stare too long, you might lose your sight. Some people gunning for our downfall, but they'll never see our demise. Burning life, who's the one? I'm the one, he's the one. Are you the one? No, we're the ones who keep the fire going till the day we die, till they see the light, make it bright, till we hear the people say, born sinner, never could be ill. I know I'm back from the dead, yeah, the Lord is my healer. I took the red pill, that's why I call him teacher. When you learn about the spirit, oh, there ain't nothing realer. The one you learn from determines your entire destiny. Learn from the one who taught about eternity. Cloud craving, paper chasing, the joy is only temporary. I don't wanna do the same thing, so I hard to count the vanity. I keep my eyes on the prize, I'll never sell my soul to the devil in disguise. With both hands on each side, I'm holding on to dear life. I keep my guard up, never back down. When it goes down, I call on the Christ. Spiritual battle, answer the call. It's Call of Duty, modern warfare, put the armor of God. They're fighting Lucy with a rock, I got atomic bombs. Love the Lord your God and know your brothers once the demons fall. Don't be deceived, know who the ops is. Keep the unity and peace, go far way across this. Came to preach the word of God like I'm born in Tarsus. Here to testify the things I've seen on road to Damascus. He's a real deal, the real thing, be glad you heard the King's speech. Blessed are those who reach the end and get to hear the Lord speak. GODs, POC, we fulfilled everything. Burning life, kerosene, burning life, legacy.
You will never see me stop in the future. The life that fulfills God's will continue. Everyone thinks I'm unfortunate because I go through suffering. But inside of me it's different. Because I walk the path of eternal life.
Burning life, Look at the flames in my eyes, watch it burn, but don't stare too long, you might lose your sight. Some people gunning for our downfall, but they'll never see our demise. Burning life, who's the one? I'm the one, he's the one. Are you the one? No, we're the ones who keep the fire going till the day we die, till they see the light, make it bright, till we hear the people say,
like Mary poured out her perfume on Jesus' feet, I must pour out my heart, mind, and love on the one who saved me.
Okay, so let's get into the final segment for today's Friday podcast. And, it is the final segment for the entire week. We're getting into Until the End with Daniel Baker. Hope you guys have been enjoying his podcast. I'm telling you right now, the fog is rolling in Wolmyeongdong, and it's making it look even more mysterious right now. It's quite amazing. Like it's rolling in from the left, but yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, everyone, please welcome all the way from South Korea. This is Daniel Baker with Until the End.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Do It Until the End podcast. I hope everyone is having an amazing week with the Trinity. Let's have an amazing podcast together. Now, this week has been very interesting for me because after a while, I've been really working hard. I've been working a lot overtime. My job originally consists of one caddying job, maybe two caddying jobs a couple times per week. But for the last 4 days, I've been doing 2 caddying jobs. And I've been taking on other people's work because there's a couple reasons. First reason is I kind of thought to myself, like after either doing my caddying job for like a year or half a year, after I, finished the job, how would I look at myself? How would I look at how I used my time? Would I see it in a positive way? Or would I say that, man, I was pretty lazy? And I think that's one of the bigger things in my life. And that's one of the bigger motivations that really helped me do things that I wouldn't originally do and really get out of my comfort zone, right? I mean, we can live really comfy and really fun lives and get nothing done. And we can have that empty and gaping hole within our hearts to, after all the time is gone, to really look back and realize that we have done nothing. And that's something that I've been really, really scared of this past couple weeks. And that's why I've been trying to work hard. And I was really thinking and really contemplating what to do tomorrow. Like, what should I do for my job tomorrow? Should I just do one round, play it easy? Because I also had an easier day today because I like to clean up my cart and everything. But I realized that if I really wanted to get something done, and if I really wanted to do the extra work, and really want to improve my financial aspects of my life, then I just need to commit to improving it. So that's what I did. I committed to work overtime tomorrow, and I think I could have made that decision if I was just lying at home and resting, right? I was actually out in the car driving, really thinking about what I should do tomorrow. What should my schedule be? And I realized that if I'm just going to be comfortable, if I'm just going to have an easy life, then will I be happy in 10, 20 years? If I live my best years as a 20-year-old in that kind of way? That's the kind of realization I had, so started to make the changes instantly. And I'm really happy that I'm going through this kind of like change in perspective, because it kind of makes me crave change, right? Really improve changes that really improve my character. I'm not talking about the change that is negative to you, right? That you become less productive, you become more lazy. The change for improvement in your life. That change, that thirst for that kind of change will be the deciding factor if you do all the things you want to within your life. And I have future plans that I can't really talk about right now with you guys, but I would love to talk to you guys about. And those changes within my life that's going to happen within 6-7 months are kind of founded on my interests and what I really want to do in the future and what I really enjoy doing. And I hope that during this time right now, while I'm really preparing to make that change, and for that change itself, that I'm able to really improve my character, my life, and how I really look at my job. Yeah, so that's all I have for you guys today. I hope everyone has an amazing week with the Trinity. And to everyone who is going until the end, let's walk this path together. Peace out, guys. Bye-bye.
And that's a big thank you to Daniel Baker for another wonderful episode of Until the End. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a comment down for him. He's doing an amazing and wonderful job as he's working as a caddy over here in Korea. If you have any questions or anything else, please leave them in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you guys too. Okay, so there it is, guys. That is the end of today's Friday podcast and for the entire week. Have an amazing and awesome day, and we'll see you guys again on Monday on the Morning Star Drive on 117.8.
It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when